All right, here's the general process of how a return to duty drug test um, and clearinghouse procedure works. So oftentimes when a driver has a positive drug test or a refusal, that information is sent to the clearinghouse and it is marked on their record. So anytime a company goes to hire a driver, when they perform the clearinghouse query, that mark on their record will show and it will say that they are prohibited from driving until they have this return to duty process straightened out. So when a driver gets a positive, there's times where the company will automatically let that driver go, and they are then responsible to get this return to duty process figured out on their own. So we have numerous drivers that come to us in the search of help for clearing out their clearinghouse file, and this is what we were able to perform. So when the driver comes to us, if they are just by themselves, a driver, they're basically now considered an owner operator. Even if they don't have their own potential company, they need to create a company presence in the clearinghouse so that that company can select us, the TPA, Quality Consortium Services, as their TPA to handle this process. The only way that that works is if a company in the clearinghouse selects us as their TPA. So a driver will create their own company account. Um, they don't have to have any specific numbers or authorization. They just create a company account in the clearinghouse and select us as their TPA. So the driver will have a SAP, a substance abuse professional, and they have to see this person and get released from their care to be eligible to take the return to duty drug test. Once the SAP deems them to be eligible, they kind of graduate them from their course and they have a follow-up testing plan and a certificate stating that they are now eligible for the return to duty drug test. That will get sent from the SAP directly to us as the TPA. If this is a company that has a driver that is in this process, the SAP can contact the company as well directly, but this information needs to stay separate and confidential from the driver. So drivers that are owner operators obviously cannot have information sent to the company because it is them as a driver. So that's where the TPA comes in that case. So once they have finished the SAP process, they can order a return to duty drug test from the consortium. They'll just click on order drug test. Reason for test must state return to duty. These are observed tests. They're not the same as a pre-employment or anything else. They have to be specifically return to duty. The driver will then go and take that test. The results of that will get sent back to the TPA, who will then upload it to the consortium account, and the company will have access to that drug test result. If the driver is the one that created this company, obviously they will have access to that result as well. Once the negative drug test result comes back from the lab and we have authorization from the SAP that the return duty was eligible, we can then submit that information to the clearinghouse and state that the driver has completed the return to duty process. They have a negative return to duty drug test result, and that will make them now eligible to continue driving. It will not fully clear their record because they have to continue this follow-up testing plan, and then that needs to be submitted to the clearinghouse once that's done. These follow-up plans are dependent on the SAP, and it will usually take from a year to a couple years to clear, depending on whatever the SAP has recommended for the follow-up plan. So that is the kind of basic breakdown of how we can help as the TPA with the return to duty process.